Joe Hopkins here, and I'm just having a beer and talking about some of my favorite riffs. These aren't, I don't know, I was just sitting around having some pizza and beer and thinking, man, the riffs that grabbed me, right? Not all of them. This is not a comprehensive list, and it's not my top 10. It's just the ones that came to mind when I thought, man, the riffs that when I was learning guitar, when I was first learning, I was like 12 years old, and well, not all of them are from when I was 12, but 12 through like 20, let's say, in that 8-year period where I'm like really learning guitar, and they're the riffs that slapped me. There's some of the riffs that just slapped me across the face, like wham! Okay? They slap you so hard you just want to go, Mama, please don't hurt me. Okay, these are the riffs that were like a big butt woman slapping her cheeks in my face going, suck it, you dirty white boy. Wow, 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 yeah. You know what I mean. The riffs that slap you, that just make you want to play, right? I'm not saying I even learned all these riffs myself. Some of them, but some of them I just, you know, they made me want to be a guitarist, right? Or want to be a rock star, or want to be involved in this thing called rock and roll. I got a list here. Right? I'm not one of those guys that memorizes stuff, right? All right, the first one, this one, oh my God, man, I was a dumb kid and I heard this and I thought, man, that's amazing, right? By the way, I am going to play a couple seconds of each riff, but only a couple seconds. I'm trying to avoid the YouTube police, that copyright popo. And if one of these, okay, just doesn't play, it's muted, I'm sorry, okay? It's not my fault. That means the popo got me. They put my song in cuffs. They put that clip in cuffs and they escorted it to prison, okay? It was being bad and it had to be disciplined. So the first one, like I said, this one I heard when I was a kid and it slapped me right on the ass. Children of the Grave by Black Sabbath. Yeah, man, that was, there's just something about that one, right? It just grabs you. I mean, just that is some badass shit, man. Okay, wait, which other ones grabbed me? Number 2. Now, this is jumping forward a bunch of years. I was an adult by the time I heard this one, if that tells you how old I am. Right? I'd heard of Slipknot. And I liked some of their stuff. And then I heard Psychosocial. And that has got to be, still, to this day, honestly, that kicks. So, there you go, man. That still kicks. I'm sorry, that still kicks, okay? Now let's take a trip back. Way back to the 1980s, right? When Metallica was the big damn thing. Except that, what was it? Master of Puppets really made them huge, but I loved for Whom the Bell Tolls. That's right, dudes. Time marches on. For Whom the Bell Tolls. I always thought that was so cool. It's not their most complicated work, right? It's not the hardest to play, but something about it just tickles my dick. Okay? So, let's see. Here's one that's also 80s. It's not a complicated thing, right? It's not fancy, but it grabbed my attention. I thought, man, I like that band. And to this day, it's one of my favorite 80s bands, Cinderella. Shake Me. That's right. Like I said, not complicated, not like really out of the ballpark. Like, ooh, man, that's amazing. But it grabbed me. It grabbed me. All right. I can say that I was grabbed by Cinderella. She grabbed me right by the crotch. Here's another one that really grabbed me. 80s again, right? And this requires a little bit of backstory. I grew up in Baltimore, and man, one of my favorite bands was one of the big Baltimore bands, Kicks, with Cold Blood. Now, see, that one also not complicated, pretty simple, straightforward, but it's one of my favorite songs of theirs. And honestly, I think in a lot of my songs, I've kind of copied that vibe, which they're copying too, right? That's not an original, you know, it's very AC/DC and very bluesy before AC/DC. I mean, that could have been you know, Chuck Berry, that could have been Howlin' Wolf. I mean, come on, everybody's used that kind of rhythm, that syncopated thing there, all the way back to like Scott Joplin and before that. Everybody, that syncopate, yeah, right? But, yeah, man, Kicks, they really, really grabbed me back in the day. It kind of helps that they were a local band for Baltimore. We considered them a Baltimore band, even though they were from Western Maryland. And when I moved west and ended up finding myself in the Cumberland, Maryland area, I found myself around a lot of people that knew those guys, right? That know them. So, I mean, they're from this area. I saw one of their last concerts recently. They're finishing up this year. They're done, right? I guess they're old and they want to retire. I'm sure they'll probably get bored and do a local gig or two, which is cool because local is me now, right? I live up this way. But I mean, they're not just local. They're local to the point where the singer, Steve Whiteman, do you have any idea how many Whitemans I've worked with at my job over the years? They're all related to him. My wife worked with his cousin. You know, they're just Whitemans abounding up here. But I thought they were awesome when I was a kid, before I ever knew that I would meet many of the singer's relatives, right? Which, you know, it's cool. Hey, I guess it's cool. I don't know. They're, you know, they're from this area. Anyway, the next one, right? We got to go back a ways, back to the 60s. Steppenwolf, Born to be Wild. Now, yeah, everybody knows Born to be Wild. Everybody knows that riff. That's a song I covered a lot with the early bands I was in. It was kind of like something you did. A lot of those jam bands and like 90s alt-rock bands, we all loved Steppenwolf, you know? So you ended up covering that song. And I think we covered it pretty well. I was a regular on our set with several bands I was in. I thought it was a cool song. It definitely, I appreciated it. Let me put it this way. This next one, right? My dad had this album, right? I'll tell you about it in a minute here. It's Cream, Sunshine of Your Love. Now, that's one that makes a lot of all-time greatest riffs, you know, kind of compilations. But, you know, I hadn't really heard that song. Somehow I missed it. I don't know. Until I put my dad's Wheels of Fire album by Cream on the record player, and I'm like, what's this? I'll check it out. Yeah, that one grabbed me. I mean, the whole album is amazing, right? Even the stuff you don't hear on the radio, but, you know, White Room, and there were a lot of songs on there I really liked. And I can't remember a lot of the names of the, well, there was one, it was something about Achilles or Hercules or something like that. I thought it was cool as hell. Great album, but Sunshine of Your Love, I think it grabbed me the way it grabbed people back in the 60s when it first came out, because when I first heard it putting on my dad's record, you know, that he bought back then. It kicked my ass, right? It really did. So the next one is along the same kind of line, same time period, right? I went to, there were these stores in the Baltimore area called Record and Tape Traders. right? I know today we don't have records or tapes, but back then we did, record and tape traders. So when I first got a boombox, I got it for Christmas, right? I think I was like 10 or 11, something like at 12. My mom bought me a boombox for Christmas. She bought it for me and my brother, and I ended up with it because fuck him. But yeah, so one of the first things I did when I got a couple bucks was I went to record and tape traders and I looked around for something that looked cool. And I found Led Zeppelin 2 and I bought it and I put it in that tape deck and I heard Whole Lotta Love. Yeah, so man, I heard that and just blew my mind. Honestly, that's one of the first riffs I learned from something I'd heard, because my dad had just given me a guitar. It must have been when I was 12. I bought that album and my dad had just given me an electric guitar, right? And I had to learn that. Had to learn it. I'm like, that is like the coolest thing my 12-year-old ass had ever heard. I'm like, whoa. I want to learn this. I want to play that. This is badass, right? So then fast forward a couple years, I'm in high school. And this band had just come out, and I heard this on the radio. No, not the radio. I heard it on MTV. They did a video. MTV. It's Tool, Prison Sex. Now, granted, the name of the song kind of made me wonder, like, what is wrong with this dude, right? Somebody was abused badly at some point. And you listen to the song, and it shows through. What happened to this guy? Poor dude. Anyway, right, that's, what, James Maynard Keenan? James Maynard? I don't know. It's like Ricky Bobby. He's got a couple of first names. Anyway... yeah, I heard that and I'm like, that is cool. That is one badass song, man. And it turned me into a Tool fan, I'll tell you that. After that, I heard Sober, and by then I'm like, nah, I like these guys. And at some point, they weren't as good, I don't think. Until 10,000 Days. That was an awesome album. And then after that, they did one recently that I don't think is as good. I don't think their new album is that great. Be honest with you, not a huge fan, but definitely that was an amazing song. I dug it. I thought, man, this is cool. All right, last but not least. Oh man, I got to make sure I'm still recording. I think my computer did it. No, I'm still recording. Okay, good. Last but certainly not least, right? This is a band that almost got to see, almost, and didn't go, and I wish I had. Soundgarden with Outshined. Now granted, this was pre their big hits. This was off of Bad Motorfinger, right? And like I said, I had a chance to see Soundgarden. I remember I was at work, right? I had a summer job. And my buddy was like, hey, they're doing another Woodstock. You remember Woodstock 94? And he's like, hey, we should go. And I'm like, we don't have tickets, man. We're just going to drive up there and have to come back. And he's like, yeah, you're right. And he said, maybe we could sneak in. I'm like, nah, man, that's, we're not going to get in. I wish I hadn't said that, because then I'm watching it on MTV as all the fences come down, and everybody just storms in, and it became a free concert. And I'm like, damn, I'm a dumbass. I should have gone. He didn't go either, man. When we got back to work on Monday, I'm like, did you go? He's like, no. I'm like, we should have gone. He said, yeah, we should have. So what can I say, right? Soundgarden played, and a bunch of other bands. Green Day, a bunch of them. I wish I'd gone, right? But I didn't. I did, and I learned from that experience. I learned, give it a shot anyway. Go ahead and go. Who knows? Maybe somebody will kick the fence in, right? So those are not necessarily my 10 favorite riffs. I'd have to think about that. They're not the only riffs that I think are great, but they're the 10 that really, when I thought, what riffs really kicked my ass, those are the ones that came to mind, at least today. Tomorrow, it might be a different story, but those are definitely 10 riffs that inspired the crap out of me. I'd have to say the ones that would always make my list, no matter how long I think about it. Probably Whole Lotta Love, Sunshine of Your Love, Born to Be Wild. Those are always going to get me. Children of the Grave. Those are ones that are an outshine. Oh, the man is calling me. Hold on a second. I got to talk to the man. All right, that was the man. They said, you want to work on overtime this weekend? And I said, fuck yeah. Give me that money. Give me free money. Give me the money. Show me the money. Anyway, there we go. So, riffs that kicked my ass. What riffs kicked your ass? Leave a comment below. I want to know. I really want to know, man, because maybe you'll say something. Maybe you'll say this or that, and I'll go, oh, damn, you're right. I forgot about them. That's good stuff, right? Or maybe I'll look at it and go, man, what the hell was running through your head? You're probably wondering that with me, especially like with Cinderella. What was running through your head? Like, how did that riff kick your ass? It did. I don't know why. I was a kid, but it really made me want to play guitar. And to this day, when I hear that song, Shake Me, it's still, maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know. Trust me, if you're young, you'll get it. When you start getting middle-aged, man, you'll hear a song from when you were 10 and go, oh my God, that, yes. All right, so anyway, subscribe to my channel. Check out my album. There's links in the description below, and there is a playlist of my album called I Didn't Get a Memory. It comes up in a minute here at the end screen. So, yeah, man, like, yeah, if you listen to my music, it would totally tweak my nipples. Yeah, so, wait a minute. I'll see you on the next video. I love you guys. Peace out, baby. Bye-bye.